gonna drive you home. Oh, hey. I didn't see you guys come in. Don't you ever knock? How's it going, everybody? Just taking a look at this classic album here. Heartbeat City by the band The Cars. Great band from the late 70s and 80s. Unfortunately, Benjamin Orr, the bassist and sometimes lead singer of the band, passed away back in 2000 of pancreatic cancer. And then more recently, was it last year or the year before, lead singer Rick Orkazek, he passed away as well. So sad to see these classic rock musicians sort of starting to drop like flies. They're getting up in age. You think back to even Paul McCartney, Ringo Starr, even look at Mick Jagger. Those guys are creeping up on 80, so it's pretty wild. But yeah, The Cars, fantastic band, hit after hit after hit. And so Heartbeat City, great album. If you guys are a fan of this band, that's pretty cool. If you've never heard of them, I highly recommend checking them out. Obviously, some of the older generation, such as myself, and probably even Marcus, remembers this band as well. So we got a few things to talk about here. First things first, let me take a sip of my wine. All right, so I've sort of written everything down on some cards here so I don't forget what I want to talk about. So the first thing is, I finished watching the 4-part mini documentary on the Night Stalker, Richard Ramirez, the famous serial killer from the 1980s, on Netflix. It was a real good documentary. I really did enjoy it. I was up till 3 o'clock in the morning last night finishing it off. So I won't go into great detail on that, but if you guys are familiar with the case or the serial killer or anything like that, crime documentaries interest you, I highly recommend checking it out. A lot of the series sort of relies on the two investigators that were in charge of the investigation when the murder went on in the 80s. But yeah, the guy is absolutely crazy looking when you see pictures of him, especially the one where it shows him holding up his hand and he's got the Pentagon on his hand. Pretty intense. The guy is definitely a demon from hell. He passed away a couple of years ago as well. He sat on death row for a number of years, and then ultimately he ended up dying of cancer as well. So yeah, real good miniseries, Night Stalker. The next thing I want to talk about, I ended up watching a horror movie last night. Now, you guys might know or you might not know, I've talked about it before on this channel. I was going to do a Movies on the Run episode on this, but I've been a little bit busy. I watched the movie Waxwork. So it's 1988. It came out. It's a comedy horror movie, so it's not like, hardcore by any means, but really good. It's about 6 teenagers who are sort of going to high school in the area, and these 2 girls are walking home, and there's a wax museum in the neighborhood, and there's a guy out front, and they end up talking to this guy. And he's like, we'll stop by at midnight and I'll let you into the wax museum. The Waxwork is what they call it. But the only stipulation is they can only bring up to 6 people, no more than 6. So they go back, 2 girls go back with 4 other people, and they go into this wax museum. And then the next thing you know, they end up stepping into this alternate reality, or I don't know. It's real crazy. They step into this alternate dimension, different time periods. And they end up fighting for their lives, and then one by one they start to die, and they end up becoming fixtures in the wax museum. They're actual wax characters in the museum, right up until the end of the movie, where there's just one guy and one girl left, and they're in the museum looking for their friends because they hadn't yet realized that they had become wax figures. And I'm not going to give away the ending, but it was a real good movie. It was fantastic. The only actor that really stands out for me in it that I recognized was Dana Ashbrook, who later starred in Twin Peaks about a year later. And there's actually a Waxwork 2 that came out and that's called Waxwork 2 Lost in Time, and it's actually on Netflix, or not Netflix, it's on YouTube. Somebody uploaded it to YouTube, and it looks like it's a half decent rip, so I might watch that tonight. And it's cool when you put the movie on. You get the first screen. It shows like Vestron pictures. It's like right out of the 80s. And I really enjoyed it. So Waxwork, definitely check that out if you haven't seen it. And check out Waxwork 2. Apparently it's even better than the first, which is a rarity for sequels. Usually sequels are always worse than the original. So so Waxwork, check that out. Okay, so the next thing I want to talk about, how are we doing for time here? 6 minutes? Okay, we'll keep going. I was watching a video from Cyrus, the video game virus. He was talking about this machine. It's called the iArcade, so it's II Arcade. I didn't watch the whole video. I watched a bit of it. I'm like, that sounds familiar. So the II Arcade is very similar to the Arcade 1-Up, same idea. Bar table arcade cabinet, if you will, and you can get a riser for it as well. So I go onto the II Arcade website, and holy fuck, what's on the main page of the site? It's like, check out this review from John Hancock. So I'm like, oh yeah, now I remember it. John Hancock reviewed the II Arcade, and he gave it a glowing review. So again, you can't trust these guys at all. They're bought and paid for. And then not only that, when you go further on the site and you go to where the reviews are, there's other YouTubers that have their reviews on there as well. And then they have 3 written reviews on their website, and they're all 5-star, and they're perfectly worded. And the names are like Andrew C. and Jacob D. and Bob C. And they look fake as fuck. The reviews look absolutely fake. So I don't know. If you get a chance to check out II Arcade, go to the website. Oh my god. Whole thing seems like a fucking scam. I couldn't get over it when I went to the website, so I highly recommend it. Maybe Afro Gamer Dude, if you're watching this, maybe you can invest a little bit more time into it. You can see what I'm talking about on there, but it's just absolutely ridiculous. And again, you wonder why someone like John Hancock does these product reviews and doesn't have a bad thing to say about these products. He's bought and paid for. The next thing I want to talk about, I saw on Twitter, somebody posted a gameplay clip from an old Amiga game called Risky Woods. I'm like, man, that looks really good. Like, it looked really good. And then sure enough, I looked it up. I looked into it even further, and I think maybe Darius Truxton talked about this a couple of months ago. I think he has it, but it came out for the Genesis as well and the Mega Drive. And it's just funny because when you see the original version that was like on the Atari and the Amiga ST, it's just like the main character, he's got like a t-shirt and jeans on and sneakers, and yeah, it looks really cool. But then you see the Genesis version and the guy's wearing like a fucking toga and a cape. So, Risky Woods, it looks really good. It's kind of expensive right now on eBay, so I'm gonna look around for it, but I would like to get a copy of Risky Woods. Let me know in the comments below if you played that game. So, I guess the last thing we'll talk about here is MJR. So, I don't know what else to say about this guy. He posted a rant yesterday, believe it or not. He never posts rants. So, on his MJR Extras channel, he posted a rant talking about the PlayStation Store again, how it's not being closed. Talking about the PSP and the Vita. And the rant doing a rant is like outside his element. You know he's not built for it. So I watched that video and it was extremely cringy trying to watch him do an off the cuff rant because he's not built for that type of material. And then I watched his most recent video on his main channel. Now, when I say watch, what I mean was I had it on YouTube and I was like fast forwarding it to see all the games he was talking about, skipping over a large portion of the video. And until I got to this part in the video, well, take a look at this. So he's showing off his big box PC games, and the guy gets down on all fours, and he's in his boxers or he's in a pair of shorts, and his fucking midriff, his belly's hanging out. And he's got his feet right in the middle of the picture, right in the middle of the camera. I just can't get over it. Again, I'm not a pro YouTuber and I never will be. It's just a small hobby channel for me. But I for damn sure, am never going to film a video sitting with my fucking legs crossed on my carpet, wearing shorts and no socks on my feet with my belly hanging out. Come on, man. Have some fucking dignity. Holy shit. So, yeah, he just doesn't give a fuck anymore. He just films whatever. Like, anyone that had, any sort of dignity, they wouldn't film a video like that, especially when you have almost 1 million subscribers. Like, for God's sakes, dude. Put a pair of pants on. Put a pair of shoes on. People are watching this. Kids are watching this at home. We don't want to look at your smelly feet. We don't want to look at your beer gut. Like, for fuck's, I couldn't believe it when I saw that. Absolutely disgusting. We don't need to see that in 4K, okay? Oh, he doesn't have a 4K camera. You can only shoot in 1080p, guys. So that's it. That's it for me. Just a little bit of an MJR rant. The guy has completely lost all hope. He hasn't posted a follow-up health update on his website, metaljesusrocks.com. He doesn't look like he's really serious about it, so... Anyways, guys, that's going to do it for me. Thanks so much for watching. Have a good night.